The supplies you'll need for this project are an outer fabric, a lining fabric, matching thread, a bobbin with the matching thread, zipper, a rotary cutter or scissors, a grid ruler, pins, wash away tape, fusible fleece interfacing, and fabric clips. You'll need to begin by cutting your fabric to your desired size. For this project, I'm just going to make a coin purse. When I make a coin purse, I cut it in a 4 by 5 3/4 inch piece of fabric. I'm just lining it up and cutting it so the lines are straight. I'm going to do 2 pouches in this demonstration. You'll also need a tab, and for those I do 2 inches by 3 inches. You'll also need tabs for the zippers, and for them I do 2 inches by about an inch. You'll also have to cut your lining fabric, and you cut them to the same size that you're cutting your outside fabric. So again, I'm just cutting 4 pieces that are 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. The next step is to iron your zipper tabs, and for that I just fold it in half and iron it, and then fold it with a finger crease and fold those in quarters, and that way you have lined up sides. Then I'm also going to go ahead and fold my key ring tabs, and I just fold them in half and then half again, and then iron that. After those are all ironed, I iron my outer fabric to make sure they're flat, and then I iron them to my fleece interfacing. I just do that to all 4 pieces of my outer fabric. Then I iron my lining fabric so that it is neat and straight. Then I move over to the sewing machine, and I begin by sewing the tabs. These are the pieces that the key fob will be attached to. I just sew close to the edge on both sides so that it looks even. Then I begin preparing my zipper, and this is where I use the wash away tape. It comes in handy. It's basically double-sided tape that's made to wash away in the washing machine. It also doesn't gum up the needle. If you don't have any of this, you can easily use a pin or even the clips. I just find it easier to use the tape because it holds it in place. It's not real strong, but it is decently strong. I then sew my tabs onto the end of my zipper. I do a triple stitch so that they will be extra reinforced. Now to prepare the tab on the other end of the zipper. For this project, I'll be using a 4-inch zipper, and I'm using plastic teethed zippers so I'm able to cut them. Do not use your good fabric scissors because they will ruin your fabric. I've found that for this project, the good rule of thumb is to make the zipper length 1 3/4 inches shorter than the length of your fabric. So since I'm using 5 3/4 length fabric, I want to use a 4-inch zipper length, and that way my tabs fit good. And then I just go over the sewing machine and sew triple stitched on the ends of those to attach those tabs. It's time for me to attach the zipper to my fabric. You begin by putting the zipper face down onto the main fabric face up, and then put the lining fabric on top of that. Over at the sewing machine, I switched to my zipper foot. I just stitch fairly close to the edge of the fabric. You want to make sure it's not right on the zipper. To make the next step a little easier, I go ahead and iron the lining fabric and the outer fabric to where it will be flat. Then I move back over to the sewing machine and top stitch a line so that the fabric doesn't come back up and get hung in the zipper. To put on the back, you just repeat the process that you did on the front. You put your outside fabric face up, your zipper facing down, and then your lining fabric on top of that. And then you just continue repeating the same process. I put the zipper foot on my sewing machine, make a stitch close to the edge of the fabric and the zipper so as not to be right on top of the zipper. Then I iron them both flat again to make the top stitching easier. Then I begin to attach my key fob tab. I've found that a 1/2 inch is a good distance usually for both down from the zipper and the length of the tab, and then you just begin to fold it all inside out. When you begin doing this process, make sure that you have left the zipper open just a little bit so you will be able to turn the bag right side out when you're finished, and then you just stitch around the outside of the whole entire project. I triple stitch again over the ends of the zippers and the key fob tab just so that they will be sturdy. So that the corners of your project won't have quite as much bulk, you just trim off part of the point of the corner and also trim off the excess on the key fob tab. Then I can begin to turn the pouch right side out. It's hard to sometimes get those corners completely poked out, so it helps if you can use like a chopstick or a pencil. I usually use the end of a mechanical pencil to get it completely poked out. To close up the hole that's left in the lining, just fold in what is hanging out there, iron it down, go back over to the sewing machine, and sew a very small stitch right down the center to close up that hole that was left, to turn it right side out. And then you can push that inside and you have a pouch that is completely lined so you don't have any unfinished edges on the inside or the outside. You can iron it then and attach your key ring and you have a finished product.